Thank you. Hi, my name is Carina Durs, and today I'm going to talk about how to build a strong and resilient design community through a shared sense of ownership and responsibility. I have been at Facebook for more than 2 years as a design program manager for a team of more than 300 people. I'm based in London and originally from Brussels in Belgium. Prior to Facebook, I have worked in creative and brand teams like in ASOS and different agencies. As a program manager, I drive initiatives that are a priority for global design teams. I also manage and deliver diversity and inclusion programs for the EMEA and APAC teams, and I help create a community where people feel like they belong. So this is our agenda. I will talk about culture versus community, and will give you 10 actionable steps you can take to build community. This presentation has been built so you can take screenshots of photos of the slides. So there's also a few QR codes that link to reference sites. These links will also be shared in the chat should you miss them, but get your phones ready to take pictures. So we can't talk about community without talking about culture. Both are often mixed up, but they go hand in hand. Culture is the rules of the workplace, and community is the relationships in that workplace that drive our sense of belonging. Creating culture means plan a certain ideal for your team and the workplace. You are also expecting team members to follow the rules, written or unwritten, that make up that culture. But putting rules before people is the fastest way to make teams feel isolated. A community, on the other hand, can adapt and evolve because it is guided by values rather than rules. A community also has the flexibility to reflect the personalities and interests of its members. Building community requires a goal-oriented, human-centric mindset. A community is also sustainable. It can be segmented and sub-segmented and still retain its authenticity and effectiveness. Facebook does these two things very well. If you ask any employee, they will highlight these as important, if not the most important perk of their job. These are part of my everyday, and I've bottled them up into 10 themes on how to get it right. As I said, community drives our sense of belonging. And why is that sense of belonging so important for your team? Well, it turns out that a strong sense of belonging leads to higher fulfillment, better performance, and longer retention. We collected data through internal employee surveys, and people who feel they belong to a community are more engaged and report higher overall well-being. Respect, feeling valued, belonging, and authenticity came as top themes that were important to Facebook employees. So let's start with the 10 steps that you can take. The first one is having a team vision. A team vision is different from a company vision, a mission statement. A mission statement focuses on what the company desires to achieve. For example, at Facebook, the company mission statement is to give people the power to build community and bring the world closer together. Your team's vision is their why, the ultimate goal your team is pursuing. It promotes growth, both internally and externally, and also invites innovation. A purpose-driven team envisions success as a whole because they know what success means to them. Your team's vision can take form in a mission statement, a set of values, or a longer narrative. For Facebook Design, for example, we have a long-form narrative, designing for the global diversity of human needs, which is comprised in 5 key messages that tell the story of what makes our community so unique. When giving your design team a clear why they can believe in, you give them the reason to show up every morning and decide to give their best. Give them something they can identify to, and that will help build cohesion within your team. You want them to work towards the same goal together. At Facebook, not only do we have a meaningful mission and vision, but we also talk about it all the time. We all feel that we are working towards the same thing, and most importantly, we can articulate it. So practically, articulate a vision or a narrative for your team, and make sure that your team understands how they are working towards the same goal. The second point is that everyone builds community. A lot of companies or teams tend to rely on one person, often in the ops team, if there's such a team, to look after the community. They make it one of their responsibilities among lots of other things, like making the team more efficient, quality control, running the team's P&L, take care of the resource management, and general cheerleading. Hoping that by organizing a one-off site activity once in a while will do the trick. But this is a mistake. Of course, social gatherings are more important and needed for teams. I'm totally ignoring COVID on this point for now. No matter how much energy that person might put into it, they will struggle to achieve that goal on their own. Why? Because building community should be everyone's job. Also, not everyone wants to roll their sleeves up, but some people love being the engine, the fire that gets things started. I'm sure you're already thinking about a few people on your team who could be the engine. Talk to these people, help them start small, give them responsibilities. Maybe it's organizing a lunch and learn. Someone is really good at something and could share their knowledge casually, or talk about that project that went really well and the learning from it. Maybe it's inviting a designer from another company to do a short talk about their work. Or maybe it's finding a training that the whole team could attend together. Possibilities are endless. It is important to publicly recognize the initiative, talk about it, send emails about it, ask senior leadership to promote it. And most importantly, celebrate the person or team's involvement. Again, make it public and thank the person or people who were behind it. At Facebook, we have a thanks tool, which allows anyone to thank anyone about anything. You can do it publicly or just thank the person and their manager about what they have been doing. Expressing gratitude and recognizing someone did something positive for you helps making work relationships more meaningful. A little thank you note can also go a long way in your community building efforts. Finally, and the most important point, make the community building part of people's objectives and evaluation. In their performance reviews, ask them to demonstrate how they contributed to build the community they are part of and reward it. So practically, identify the engines and give them responsibilities, recognize and celebrate initiatives, use positive reinforcement, measure success, and reward. The third point is to set people up for success. You want team members who know what they are doing, what is expected from them, and understands that what their role is to reach your team and company's goal. This means you shouldn't leave any room for guessing, and this starts with your recruitment experience, the onboarding you offer, the resources you make available, and how much support you give your team members. At Facebook, I run the design camp for EMEA and APAC. This is a 3-day training camp that gives new hires context about how we are structured, how we work together, how we communicate, and generally what is expected for their role and classes are taught by members of our community. Also, set your new team members for success by focusing on who they are, what they need, and what makes them tick. Ask them to tell you what allows them to do their best work. How do they prefer to communicate? How they like to be recognized? What are their main motivators? Understanding these factors are critical for the success of your new hires in the community. So practically, build a robust onboarding process, train your people's managers, document work and process, keep in touch, and get to know your new hire. The fourth point, oops, sorry. Technical difficulties, here we go. Focus on diversity and values. A diverse team is a creative team, and you want a team that will, of course, deliver good creative work, but also be creative in finding solutions and exploring new paths together when it comes to work and team life. Focusing on diversity in your team will allow new ideas to flow, enable healthy debates, lean on each other, as not everyone will have the same set of skills and experience. Naturally, people are curious, they want to discover, so make the most of it. And whilst we talk about diversity, a strong community won't tolerate hate speech, discrimination or bias. You will need to make people feel welcome, no matter their differences, and make sure your community is inclusive. Work on listening for understanding, learning and educating. It is important for anyone to feel safe and listened to in their workplace and in their community. Focus on creating spaces where people feel safe, voicing concerns, pointing out where you could do better, and debating approaches. And even further, pay people across gender, race, age, and sexualities the same wages. Going back to values, hire people for their values. Ask them what gets them out of bed in the morning, what life challenges or experiences have shaped them, and what makes them feel fulfilled and accomplished. Their core motivations are hints about what type of team members they will be. So practically, a diverse team is a creative team. Educate and hire people for their value. The QR code there will take you to the Facebook diversity site where you can learn more about what is being done internally. I think we'll share the link in the chat as well. So the next point is personal growth is community growth. You won't have a community without people, and even your best people won't stay if you don't invest in their growth. Personal growth is community growth. Cooperation happens in a high solidarity organization only when the advantage to the individual is clear. Before doing anything, people ask what's in there for me. So you need to be clear and show them that their personal growth and well-being is at the heart of your community. You will look after them and invest in them. Upskilling your team is one way of doing that. Invest in education and growth of the individual's knowledge base and skill set. Learn things that will help them do their job better, but also learn about things that will make them better community members. For example, how to be an ally or how to manage your biases. You don't need to use external training companies that are often expensive or not tailored to your needs. Peer-to-peer learning is a great way to build community. One person's expertise is likely to be another person's learning opportunity. Since you are focusing on diversity, you will have team members with various skills who can teach each other. And of course, it can go beyond your design or creative team. So practically, always look for ways to upskill your team and focus on peer-to-peer learning. Again, this QR code will take you to the Facebook Managing Bias site where you can learn more about what we are doing internally. The next point is to trust and empower your team. You have hired them for a good reason. They have the skills, they have the personality, and they will do amazingly well if you enable them. Responsibility is based on ownership and objectives. When people own their goals, they think about achieving them differently. That is, with more passion that they would approach mere tasks on their to-do list. Share the decision-making process so employees actively think about how to improve because company-wide improvement has become their joint responsibility. Give everyone the power to call others out using established values and behaviors of the community as standards. As a manager, be their coach and their support. Get them to tell you where they want to take their career and how you can help them getting there. Your role is to help people grow, make a priority to remove roadblocks and support them in becoming better at what they are doing. Also give responsibilities, not tasks. Show them deep empathy and be flexible with people, especially in these times of working from home. So practically, support your team, don't manage them, give responsibility, not tasks, and show empathy and be flexible with people. The next point is be the leader. So leadership isn't management. It isn't about a title, but it is about influence. Leaders care for others, thanking them, supporting them, and they initiate. To build a community, you need a team of leaders who are personally engaged in order to engage others so that everyone can exercise initiative. It means that you listening now can be a leader and make a difference. You can help your team to become a community. Of course, if you are a people manager, you can also be the engine. Community building can also start with a group of committed managers looking at ways of improving things, bringing people together and enabling them. It is common to look for solutions outside of your team or organization, but look inside and leverage your own and your team's experience. Also getting management's endorsements. will make the whole difference. Managers facilitate change. Be the leader you want your team to be. So practically, everyone is a leader and enable others. The next point is encourage authenticity. At Facebook, we encourage everyone to bring their authentic self. I welcome a new design team members every week, and with COVID, I have been doing so from my lounge. Your colleagues have a bigger window on your life than before, and that is okay. Authenticity leads to empathy. And if anything, COVID might have helped us to be more empathetic towards each other. We all suffer from being at home, far from those we love, having sometimes to juggle work and homeschooling. I have no problem telling my manager or my co-workers that today might not be a good day, that I'm struggling and I need help or time. The design community I'm part of at Facebook has really helped me this past year. I knew that what the expectations were in terms of my work, but also knew that I had the space to breathe, take a step back and slow down to talk to people. Within our community, we have so many groups available, from mental health to dog lovers or coffee aficionados, that there is a place for everyone to listen, share, and be themselves beyond work conversations. So practically encourage and don't force, and lead by the example. The next point is give space and start small. So it's likely that you will have to create space for people to share beyond teamwork. I mentioned organizing social events at the start, saying that it wasn't enough to build a community. Of course it isn't, but you will need to allow your team to spend time together and bond. As we are all stuck at home and some are back in the office, it seems trickier, but there is still a way to organize time where people can relax, share and discuss. Give people forum to discuss what really matters to them. People trust people they know. People want to build friendships. And especially at the moment, people are craving social contact. Put the pressure of delivering work aside for a moment and allow people to come together with no other expectation. Also remember, you can start small. Small teams and initiatives will promote change. They will become examples for other groups that will help grow the community. Commitment is contagious when people realize the benefits, not only for the organization, but for themselves. So practically, organize non-work related workshops, interest-based groups, organize discussion circles, and coffee morning or lunch and learn. And the last point is that you should ask and be ready for change. So you shouldn't try to guess what your community needs or wants. Just ask them. Open forums, run polls, ask for opinions, send out surveys, create a council that can be consulted on a regular basis and be the voice of the team. Find ways to keep a finger on the pulse and know how people are doing. Communities, you will quickly find opportunity to share their opinion. And not everything you try will stick. You will have to try and try again and adapt, and probably also abandon ideas that don't work. But that's okay. Just be ready for it and don't feel discouraged. People crave novelty, so even things that worked might stop working at some point. If something doesn't work, don't hesitate to discard the initiative and try something new. So practically, provide opportunities to share opinions, be ready for change, be quick, and don't look for perfection. So we've covered a lot of stuff in this presentation. So here are the 10 steps again. So have a team vision. Remember that everyone builds community. Make sure that you set people up for success. Focus on diversity and value. People growth is community growth. Give your team the power. Be the leader. Encourage authenticity. Give space and start small. Ask and be ready for change. And I'll conclude with a reminder that when it comes to building community, the journey is as important as the destination. Being able to say we have a strong community is an ever-evolving, ever-shifting goal that you achieve through the journey of building and continuing to iterate based on the needs, interests, and goals of the humans within your community. In conclusion, Communities are more powerful and effective because they are driven by people within them. A great community accepts people with the right mindset and doesn't expect anyone to pretend to be someone else. Building a strong and resilient community is within your reach. And remember, you can start small. Thank you.